So welcome to today's presentation.
Can you hear that and see it?
Do some digging, research, properties, neighborhoods, and more with RPR. So first, we're going to talk a little bit of background on what is RPR, Realtors Property Resources, NAR's technology company. We're a wholly owned subsidiary corporation and essentially a national and commercial property. So that ground layer of information is public record data. So we get info from the property appraiser, the tax collector, we get mortgage info, we get distressed information from the clerk of courts. And then we have those data sets that layer on top of that, right? Census information, school information, market trends information. And it's all available for you to search. And then of course, if your local MLS participates in your own market area, you will have access to that active, sold, and off-market data that comes in through your local MLS. This is a realtor-only tool, right? So we do not provide any consumer access. And this is a dues-funded member benefit, so you don't pay any additional fees to access our platform. So how does RPR fit into your business model? As you can see on this diagram, you're at the center and you have access to a plethora of resources through your local and state realtor associations or organizations. You also get wonderful tools provided by your brokerage, as well as your MLS community. And oftentimes your brokerage, right, has partnerships with inspectors, lenders, property managers. You probably have a professional network that includes appraisers and other agents, right? So you have that real estate community. And RPR is not in competition with any of those tools or resources. We're just a value-added benefit for you to use with other platforms to make you be the most efficient and effective realtor that you can be. And today we're going to see some of that tremendous data and reporting functions that hopefully allow you to grow your business. So what we're going to do in today's presentation is just talk about why research is important, whether you're looking for off or on market properties. And what I mean by on market is that property that's currently listed for sale. Maybe it's active with contract, maybe it's pending, maybe it's a recent sold or expired. And then you have off-market property searches. And an off-market property is essentially a property that has no recent MLS activity. Maybe it has some historical sales activity, but nothing that's current, right? We're going to go through why map research is important. We're going to talk about neighborhood searches, school searches, and market trends. So we have a lot to cover. So why is there a need for research in real estate? So much of real estate focuses around the property history. What's going on with the neighborhood that the property is located in? You may be in a market area where school information is important. This may not be all across the country. And let me know through the Q&A how you feel about it. But in Florida, school data is very important to consumers. You want to be able to identify market trends. Is it a buyer or is it a seller's market? So all of that becomes important when you're going through that need for research, right? And then all of this, you want to be able to package some of it together to have content to provide consumer outreach and provide that value to your clients and customers. So when we talk neighborhood insights, right, what are we talking about? We're talking about searching for neighborhoods in an area. And you guys within the RPR market have the ability to define a neighborhood. A neighborhood can be a city as a whole. A neighborhood can be a zip code. A neighborhood could be a master plan community. A neighborhood could be a condo building, right? It can be a subdivision or a development. So you have the ability to define what you want that neighborhood to be. You want to see how those neighborhoods compare. What's the minimum housing property value? What's that year over year property value growth? What's the size of that neighborhood? What are those housing metrics, right? Your sales, your total volume, how that turnover rate, right? How many houses sold in that neighborhood percentage-wise over the last year, and how does that maybe compare to the turnover rate of last year? Are more houses selling or are less houses selling? And then you just want that demographic data. And this is what we refer to as oftentimes that quality of life, that population, growth, density, rain, sun, snow, commute time, all of those things create that neighborhood demographic, right? So that is what we're going to see today. And then of course, as far as how does this provide value clients and customers, it puts you in that position of providing guidance on listing and offer prices when you can show you have an understanding of what's going on with the market trends in an area and how a particular neighborhood is performing in comparison to that. And then it's just your general market awareness, right? That you have the currency of what's going on in your market. Now we're going to jump into RPR and take a look at how to do all of these cool different searches. So here we are at the RPR homepage, and I want to go in and I want to do a really simple search, right? I'm researching an off-market property. Maybe I have a lead that came in through a Facebook page. Maybe I got a referral from a previous client that they have a friend that's maybe looking to sell their property. So we're going to come in and I'm just going to do an off-market location search. And I'm just going to type in the property address, which is 1107 West Rawhide. And I know the owner's name is Gladys, so I'm going to come in. And as I start typing, the address comes right up on my matches. So from here, I can just click on the property address, and it's going to go ahead and pull up this off-market property. So there's no current MLS information behind this parcel. Now, what I love about having a particular address, whether it's on market or if it's currently actively listed property, all the layers of information are right here for the property. The market trends are there. The neighborhood demographics are there. The public record data, it's all here packaged together. So I just want to take a few minutes to go through some of the main layers of information that we have when we can look at a property. So here we are with our property address. We have our property information. And then just below our property info, I have a sub menu bar, right? For this particular property on Rawhide, I can look at the public record property information. I can look at what's going on for the market trends around where the property is located. I can refine the value and create a CMA if I'm pricing it out. I can look at what's going on with the neighborhood demographic. And I also have a section for my updates. And my updates, if I click into that, it just allows you to come in. You can store property notes for your client if you want to have an ongoing record of maybe phone calls, what we would call touches to that client, whether it's a phone, an email, a text. You can go ahead and save that, and it dates the notes that you do leave. If you walk around the property and you want to add your own photos into RPR, you have the ability to do that. And then if you are researching the property for a pricing tool and you want to generate a really easy seller proceeds sheet, you can do that under my updates as well. Of course, clicking into any of these menu headers will take you back to that data point set. So I want to dive into some of the layers for this property. The first layer that I want to dive into is
I don't know what just happened there. Hang on, guys. That was weird. I don't know what I pressed. Okay. Hopefully she's coming back online here.
the neighborhood.
Okay, there we go.
And I want to jump into our neighborhood because this is where you get not only a summary of how the market's doing, but you get that census information as far as housing, people, economy, and the quality of life, which is rain, sun, snow, commute time. So I'm going to kind of work this a little bit. Now we've gone from our property, which is at 1107 West Rawhide, to the zip code that the property is located in. Generally speaking, when we look at census information, demographic data, and statistical information, we're looking for quality and quantity of data. So we go to the zip code level. I'll show you in a little bit where you can even drill down further than the zip code level, but we're not quite there yet. So let's take a look at our housing summary for the zip code that our property is located in. What we're going to get really quickly is just a snapshot of what's going on with the market trends in the zip code. Now, when we look at statistics, we're always going to be a month behind. So since it's January, where are we? January, it's January. So we're looking at December statistics. After the first week of February, right, we'll be looking at January statistics and so on and so forth. Now, anytime you're coming in to RPR, and if you're looking at something that's new, we always have these little links that say about this data. So you can click on this link and it's going to say, hey, this shows key metrics for sold listings in a market area. The market type indicator is driven by the months of inventory, and it describes whether the market conditions favor a buyer or seller, or is it balanced? And this is the industry standard that we use to determine if it's a seller's market, a balanced market, or a buyer's market. We talk about how we calculate inventory, where we source the info, and how often we update this. So you get your market trends area. With your market trends, you also have the ability to break it down by property type, right? Because sometimes when you're in a market area, your condo trends are going to be different from your single family home trends. So you can break this down by single family. You can break it down by condo, by co-op, by mobile, multifamily, lot land, farm, or ranch. But I'm going to tell you right now, our market trends heavily rely on MLS information. So if you're looking for new construction trends, we are only going to have new construction properties that were listed for sale in the MLS system. So you may see we just don't have that inventory because the MLSs don't have that development listings within their platforms. Now we'll get those public record sales once they close. So let's take a look at some of the other summary trends we see. For the zip code, we get the median estimated property value. We're going to get what the current value is for the month of December, what it was month over month, which is looking at November to December, or year over year, which is looking at December of 2021 to December of 2022. You can break it down by time frame if you don't want to look from October all the way back to July of 2008. But I like this because I get the question quite a bit. What was the median value back in 2010? Well, I can hover over this index and look for the blue line, which is the zip code, and I can follow this bar graph all the way back to 2010, and I can come in and say, hey, December of 2010, the median estimated value was 177,000, and it's 531 now. That's a huge jump. So you can come and get that value trend. You can break it down if you don't want to compare the zip code to maybe the county. You can take layers off as well. We get the AARP livability index. RPR has a partnership with AARP, and AARP has its own way of scoring zip codes based off of housing, neighborhood, transportation, environment, health, engagement, and opportunity. And if you want more information, we have a link here, which will take you to aarp.com or .org, where you can look up what this livability is telling you, and we update it on an annual basis. We have a link here that will actually take you to AARP. And what's kind of cool about this is you can track how the index is changing over time. And you can do a side-by-side comparison to other locations. So if you're working with a buyer and they're like, well, we're thinking about maybe living in Mesa, or we're thinking about living in Phoenix, or we're thinking about living in Tempe, you can get a side-by-side of the livability index for those market areas. You do leave RPR when you do that, and you go straight to AARP's website. So just go ahead and say, I want to go, I want to leave, or you can cancel out of it. We get the occupational breakdown, and then we just get a little bit of an index on some of those nearby neighborhoods, median estimated home values, the size, and the population. On the lower right-hand side of our page, we have a little button here that says back to top. So I'm going to go ahead and jump back to the top of my screen, and I'm going to go into the housing tab. I love my housing tab because this is going to give me estimated home values, list price for the zip code, month over month, year over year, median home age. This is where I can drill down and get that rent versus own index. That top market is own, that bottom is rent. So you have that number in there. And then we can see what's going on with the new listing inventory. This is all properties. If we want to break it down to just condo sales, we can go ahead and apply it to condo sales, or you can look at just single family home sales or vacant land home sales. So you can go into your property type indicator. Again, if you don't know the difference between new listings and active listings, we have these little links that say about this data. So you can go ahead and read through it. You get new pending listings. You get pending listings total, sold listings. Your sold listings are properties that sell through the MLS. You get your inventory of months supply. You get your sold public record sales, because public record properties They do sell outside of the MLS. If it's a for sale by owner, it will close through the clerk of courts. So we can see what's going on with the solds that go through public record as well. And then we get a little bit on statistics, price range, price per square foot, age range. What I like about this is you can do really quick prints of this information. And I can come in, and when I look at these trends, if I just want to see maybe new listing statistics and not the active listings, I can hide that card just by clicking on these three little dots. And I can come in and say, hey, I just want to know what was going on in the month of December. So I'm going to look at the new listings, what pended, and what sold through the MLS system. So I can come in and collapse the cards that I want, hide the info that I don't want my clients to see. And then I can come in and just go to the top and say, hey, really quickly, I want to do a quick print, and I can get my preview, and whatever I have open is what's going to print. So it makes a really nice document that you can email to clients, and you can share through social media. So those are available for you under our housing trends. We also have people. Our people is going to give us that population growth density, your education levels, and then your household breakdown, population of children by age group, population of adults by age group, households with children, income brackets, occupational categories, all the way down to voting patterns. This information is great to have at an open house. Demographic data is updated depending on what the graphic is. It's usually annually. We get it from US Census information. So you can have this at an open house. A lot of the times when your clients or customers or visitors to open houses may start asking about, oh, are there kids in the neighborhood? Is there this? Is there that? Instead of answering each specific question, just say, hey, this is a neighborhood profile that summarizes the property value trends, the people growth economy for the market area, and the quality of life. And then with that information, they can take of it what they will. Under the economy, again, this is your job growth, unemployment. This may take a second to load as you're going through because it's creating those graphs on the back end. You're going to get that zip code to the city, to the county, to the state, to the country. And then you're going to have that quality of life. And this is going to give you rain, sun, snow, commute time, how people get to work, even your average monthly temperatures. So this information is available for you under the neighborhood tab. Now, to get back to my property profile, I'm going to follow this submenu back to that property link, and that's going to bring me back to 1107 Rawhide. Now, maybe you're not interested in the neighborhood demographics, population growth, density, and you just want to look at the snapshot of those market trends. From the property info, you can click right into the market trends tab. And again, you're going to get that snapshot where you can see if it's a balanced market, buyer or seller's market. You can break it down by property style. You get that listing inventory, the sold listings. All of these metrics, by the way, are clickable. You kind of see these different tabs. You can click into each of these tabs to view the metrics over time. You're going to get your inventory of distressed listings, inventory of distressed properties. That comes from public record data. We have our property value, and then again, your comps based off of property characteristics. So all of that info is available just from pulling up an on or off market property. Now I want to go through just the property information for this, and I want to highlight some of the trends or the research tools, I should say, that I like to look at. So we do get the basic facts for the property, the beds, the baths. Underneath our property photo, we're going to have public record facts. This is coming from the clerk of courts, not the clerk of courts, but the local property appraiser, excuse me. Public record facts vary depending on what is collected at a county level. And there's thousands of counties across the US. So not every county is going to be the same if they record bedrooms or how they record bathrooms, or if they include basements at all, or as part of the heated or living square footage. So if you have any questions when it comes to the public record property facts, you can normally go to your local property appraiser's website just to verify, oh, well, what's included in heated square footage, or how does the county record the number of bathrooms in a dwelling? So you get public record facts. One of the research tools I really like, to me, this is kind of a hidden gem, is the map. So just to the right-hand side of the property facts, I have a map, and I can click into the map. It's going to load my subject property, and then it's going to give me the values for the properties that are around mine. So all of these gray houses, right, are off-market properties. This property right here, that's a blue circle, that happens to be an actively listed property. So right from the get-go, I can see if there's really any competition around my subject property. I get all of that info. And then I also have over here my map tools. My map tools allows me to view different information on my map. I like to come into my data layers, and under my data layers, I can get things like housing values, some real estate indicators, but I love our little flood zone map. That gives you that visual of a flood zone in the market area to see if you are on a floodplain, inside or outside that floodplain. So that's available for you. And all I had to do was click into the map. We have some additional resources that are available. We have Valuate. So if you're looking at a property for investment potential, you can analyze the property for investment potential. We have great resources where you can learn more about Valuate through our blog. We have Climate Check. This is great for agents that are maybe in the California market, right? This will give you an environmental assessment risk snapshot for where your property is located. So in Florida, if you have heavy pockets of flood risk, this is great. If you're in California, you have high risk of fires, this is great. So check out that climate risk snapshot. You can email yourself a really nice full report, but that's just another layer of that research that's available for you as well. You get your legal description, you get your schools, you get your owner facts, you get previous listing history. If this is available, if the property's been listed previously in the past, you can do a side-by-side comparison with previous listings and public record data. So that's available for you. You have public record history, whether it's deed, mortgage, tax information, or foreclosure information. So again, that true picture of what's going on with a property, whether it went to a trust, had a quitclaim or a warranty deed, maybe it went through financial distress, sales and financing activity, the property's value over time. Remember, we're looking at a specific property. Maybe I want to know what this property value was back in 2020, back in 2012, 10 years ago. I can again hover over that line and see, hey, back in December of 2012, right? That's 10 years ago. The property was 270,000. So you can look at that assessed value over time. And I'm going to jump that button back to the top. So great research tools when you're looking at property information. But I want to share with you some ways that you can do just additional research, right? So with this, I'm going to go back to just the homepage in RPR, and I'm going to go into my favorite search right now, which is the neighborhood search. To access the neighborhood search, I'm just going to go to my main navigation bar at the top of the RPR screen. Here we have research. I'm going to click into or click on that research link and click into my neighborhood search. I'm going to say it again because I'm navigating away. You go to the research on your RPR navigation bar. From the research tab, I'm going to click into my neighborhood search. Now, I want all eyes on the screen because there's, again, lots of different ways that you guys can break neighborhoods down. And I just think this is so valuable. So we're going to come in and I'm actually going to navigate away. I'm going to go to a different market area. I'm going to go into my own area, right? And my neighborhood at a large level is the city of Palm Harbor, Florida. So I'm going to go ahead and come in and say, I want to see what's going on in Palm Harbor, Florida. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to type my city in, and then I'm going to go ahead and click on that magnifying glass. And I'm looking at that neighborhood demographic information for the city of Palm Harbor, Florida. So I can come in and I get my market trends on my summary, right? The market trends, don't forget guys, you can break this down by property style. I can see if it's a buyer seller's market. I get the estimated property values, the livability index. I can compare Palm Harbor to Dunedin, which is just south, or Tarpon Springs, that is just north, or Eastlake, which is just east of us. So I can come in and look at those different neighborhoods. I can click into the housing trends for the city of Palm Harbor as a whole, where I can see the median estimated home value, the median home age, the percentage of rent versus own. I have the people, again, population growth, density, education levels, household breakdown. Economy is your job growth, unemployment. And then you have that quality of life, which is the rain, sun, snow, commute time,
You're welcome.
average monthly temperatures, right? Okay, so that's the city of Palm Harbor, Florida. Now, if I go back to my summary, the city of Palm Harbor is rather large. So maybe I don't want to see the city of Palm Harbor as a whole. I just want to see one particular zip code of Palm Harbor. So I could come in and say, well, I want to see what's going on in 34683. So I type in that zip code and then I run that search. And now it's going to drill me into the zip code, which is just one small portion of Palm Harbor, where now I get the same neighborhood summary, but it's just for the zip code. Whether I want to look at the market trends, the housing, maybe I want to see what that rent versus own is for just this particular zip code, right? Well, people, economy, quality of life. So you can drill that down even further. Now, I'm going to go back up to my neighborhood search bar where I have my city and my zip code. Just to the right-hand side of that, I actually have a little type drop down. And that type drop down is going to give me that zip code as a whole. Or I can look to see what's nearby that zip code. And when I look to see what's nearby that zip code, it's going to say, well, these are all of the zip codes that are surrounding Palm Harbor. So I'm going to get some Clearwater zip codes, Crystal Beach, which is just outside of Palm Harbor to the west. I get Dunedin, I get a county north, which is Holiday, Newport Richey. So I can go into all of these different zip codes and break them down to see what's going on in a particular zip code. All I have to do is click on the zip code to load all of the layers. I get my little summary here: median estimated home value, property value growth year over year, homes for sale, median list price, where I can click into and get information for that zip code. So you can compare zip codes. Or again, going back to the top, we have our neighborhood search. I've entered Palm Harbor, Florida. I have my original zip code of 34683. But instead of finding out what's going on around that zip code, I want to know what's going on inside that zip code. I want to get even smaller. So now I'm going to change that nearby under my type to within. And I'm going to go ahead and select that magnifying glass, right? And it went back to nearby. So I'm going to make sure I have that within selected. And now I can come in and see, all right, these are the different, and it depends on where you guys are, developments, communities, subdivisions, right? I can see Allen's Ridge. I can see Arbor Chase. I can see Autumn Woods, Barrington Oaks, which is really small, Baywood Village. And within all of these, I get that summary of median estimated home value, property value growth, and the number of homes in the neighborhood. Now, with this being said, when we look at statistics, and I'm going to come in and I want to go into the enclave at Palm Harbor, right? The enclave at Palm Harbor is a very upscale neighborhood in Palm Harbor. There's, I think it said 27 homes for sale. So when we're looking at 27 homes for sale and I'm looking for the market trends, RPR is going to tell me there has to be activity on at least 3 properties during the month of December to calculate statistics. And when we're working with a pool of 27 properties in the whole complex, we just don't have the quantity of properties to be able to tell you if it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. We can give you the median estimated property value. We can give you the livability index. We can share what's going on with some nearby neighborhoods. We can give you the housing breakdown, right? So you can come into the housing breakdown and I can see the percentage of rent versus own. But if there's not inventory of new listings or active listings or pending properties, we're not going to see those statistics. It's just too small of a pool, right? You'll get your people you'll get your economy, you'll get your quality of life, but sometimes you just go a little too small. So I'm going to go back to my within. And then if we come in and maybe I'll just go to the top right here, we have Allen's Ridge. Allen's Ridge has 628,000, almost 629,000 as our median estimated home value. We've had 18% positive property value growth, and we have 327 homes in the community. So I can come in now and look at the market trends. I can look at the median estimated property value. I can get the livability index, the occupations. I can go to my housing. If I want to look at what's going on with the inventory, the rent versus own, the people, that household breakdown, education levels, the economy, and the quality of life. Again, and you guys can print these off if you want to print them off. You can also come in if you don't want the PDF, you want to email it to someone or post it to social media. You can come in and say, hey, I have an open house for a property that's coming on the market in Allen's Ridge. I want to have this demographic data available at my open house. So I'm just going to come in and create a neighborhood report. I can view a sample. I can expand. I can pick and choose the elements that I want to include. I can email it to my client, or I can just run it and download it as a PDF and share it that way as well. All right, so you can come in and look at Allen's Ridge. Now, another thing that I want to share with you when you're looking at these neighborhoods, and I'm going to go back into that zip code, which was 34683. So I have my zip code and I want to look within the zip code, and I'm going to go ahead and select my magnifying glass. We can come in and on all of these properties, we have a link here that says view nearby listings. So I'm going to come into Allen's Ridge in Palm Harbor, Florida, and I'm going to click the link here that says view nearby listings. What that's going to do is just up at the top here, you'll see it's going to run a search for Allen's Ridge in Palm Harbor, Florida. It's going to give me properties that are available for sale or for lease. We're going to get active, under contract, or pending. We're going to get it for multiple property types, even though this property is only a single family development. And then we have our price, our beds, our baths, and we have some more filters as well. So I'm going to come in and just tweak my criteria a little bit, right? So I'm going to come in here and say, all right, well, for Allen's Ridge, instead of looking at the properties that are available for sale or for lease, I want to look at public record parcels in this neighborhood. So I'm just going to change that to public record. I'm going to redo my search, and I'm going to get 327 properties within that zip code or within that subdivision, right? Which is Allen's Ridge. So I can come in and say, okay, well, out of the 327 properties, how many properties sold in 2022? I can go back to my type or status. I'm going to go back to public record. And now I can come in and say, hey, I want to see properties that sold from January 1st of 2022 to 12/31 of 2022. And I can, 12, did I do that right? I'm going to do January 1st to January 1st, and then we'll go to December 31st. Oops. Let me try that again. I'm going to do public record, and I want January 1st. I don't know why it doesn't want to cooperate. January 31st through, I could probably do the last 12 months, but our date field doesn't look like it wants to play. So I'm going to come in and just tweak this a little bit and do 01. And then I'm going to do 12. Okay, and apply. So I have my calendar dates from January 1st to December 31st. And I'm going to redo my search, and it's going to give me 9 properties. And if I want to do it for the previous year, I can come in and just back it up a year and run my search. And I can see, ooh, we had a lot more sales, twice as many sales in 2021 than we did in 2022, right? So I'm just going to minimize my screen really quick. I'm going to pull up my calculator, and then I can come in and say, well, if we had 9 properties sell, I want to divide that 9 by the total number of properties, which is 327. That's going to give me a 2.75% turnover rate in 2022. That's a little low, right? So if I'm going to farm an area, maybe I look for a neighborhood that has a little bit of a higher turnover rate. But if you wanted to come in at this point and say, hey, I want to generate mailing labels, I'm just going to clear my sold dates. I'm going to go back to my public record data so I get all 327 parcels. And then from here, I can go into my mailing labels and I can create labels that way. And we are going to have a great prospecting class coming up where we're going to go in detail over mailing labels, but you can come in and say, hey, I want to send a postcard out to everyone in this neighborhood for an upcoming open house. I want it to go to the people that live in the physical property. So I'm going to send it to the property location. I'm going to say owner name or current resident. And from that point, I'm just going to go ahead and export these. And I'm going to get mailing labels where I can just do a mail merge and create postcards and then send those postcards out to all of the homeowners, and I can welcome them to my open house. So you can do that for any neighborhood. And again, all I did, guys, was go in and say, hey, I want to go into my research. I want to go into my neighborhood search. And I want to look 34683 into a particular zip code. And I want to see what's going on within that zip code. Now, when it comes to your neighborhood search, there's also another search that I love in here. And if I go back up to my neighborhood search, or my research tool, I should say, just below our neighborhood search, we have a school search. And I want to touch base on the school search for just a minute. But with that being said, we have agents from across the US. And in some markets, it is not generally practiced to look within school districts, provide school ratings and reviews, or search for properties within a attendance school zone. On the flip side of that coin, there are other areas of the country where it is a big demand for buyers to search for properties based off of the attendance school zone, and agents are comfortable providing them with ratings and reviews for schools. So with that being said, take this with a grain of salt and look to what's common practice in your market. So you are able to do a school search. Again, if I'm coming in and saying, hey, I want to find schools that are in Palm Harbor, Florida, I can go ahead and type in the city. I can go by geography or school district. Now, in my local area, the city of Palm Harbor is in the Pinellas County School District. And I don't want to see everything in Pinellas County because it's huge and it's thousands of schools. I just want to see the city of Palm Harbor. Now, I can also filter by school name if I'm looking by a particular school, or I can filter by school type if my client's just interested in elementary, middle, or high. I'm going to let them all play. So we're going to keep all of those selected, and I'm going to select that magnifying glass. And then you can come in, we get 15 schools. These are, again, elementary, middle, and high. These are public, private, and charter. So we can come in, and I'm going to go into, we get the elementary schools, but I want to go into the high school because high school has the most when it comes to school information. So I'm going to go ahead and click into Palm Harbor University High School, and I'm going to get the summary, which is the level, the type, the grade served, the address. And then I'm going to get the comparison and ratings. Again, the link that says about this data. These are proficiency scores that we get from Niche. They update this information on a quarterly basis. Niche gets it from data compiled by the U.S. Department of Education, Private School Universe Survey, Common Core data, and others. So in here, we get enrollment, students per teacher, proficiency levels. If you're looking for GPA levels, the percentage of gifted students, graduation rates, ACT scores, SAT scores, teachers' salaries. You can see what schools are nearby. We're going to show any listings that may be in the proximity of the school. We also feed in ratings and reviews that come in from Niche as well. And you'll see a link right here where you can come in and view nearby listings, where you're going to see the properties. If I go into my map view, you can see where those properties come in from. So that is the attendance school zone for Palm Harbor University High School. It's a huge attendance school zone. And again, you can go back up to your top filters if you're looking for properties that are available for sale, for lease, so on and so forth. So you do have the ability to research school information as well as search for properties within a particular attendance school zone. The last thing, well, not really the last thing, but I'm going to say there's a couple of other research tools that I want to share with you in RPR. And that is the residential market activity search, but I'm going to save that till last. So I want to jump into our map search. Now there's effectively two ways that you can do, well, there's more than two ways, but you can do a map search in multiple ways. You can jump into the map from a location search if you want to. You can jump into the map from your My Markets on the home page, or you can just go into research and click into your map search, and that's going to load wherever your location is based off of your browser. So you can come in and click and zoom and pan and move the map around depending on the location that you're looking for. So that's available for you. But I love the map-based search because you do have the ability to search the map in multiple ways. So after the presentation, I really want you to go in and run a map-based search and take a look at our geographies and take a look at our map tools. So our geographies under our map search is available on the upper left-hand side of the map. And this allows you to layer geographical boundaries onto the map, depending on what your search criteria is. So you can do a county-wide search if I wanted to layer counties and select the county and look at demographics or view market activity or search the area, which I don't want to do because the county is so broad. I can come in here and search by municipality or township. I can break my county down by cities. I can do opportunity zones, which are great if you're working with investors that are looking to purchase properties in areas that may have tax incentives. We have zip codes. I love our zip code search, right? Because the zip code search, a lot of the times they're like, oh, well, you know, maybe I want to be in Dunedin or this zip code of Palm Harbor. So you have the ability to search multiple zip codes at one time. You have neighborhoods. Now, just like you saw me doing the neighborhood search, neighborhoods can have different boundaries. So our largest neighborhood boundary is for this area. This looks like a city boundary, right? But I can look across and see districts or boroughs, sub-cities, and things like that. You have intermediate neighborhoods. These can be master plan communities, which are larger, and then within that community, maybe there's minor or micro communities where you can go ahead and look for parcels based off of those smaller boundaries. And then of course, in here, we also have your attendance school zones. So I can come in and again, if I have someone that's looking for school zones, I can say, hey, I want to see what the attendance elementary school zones are. And I can come in here and say, all right, well, they want to be in this attendance school zone, or maybe they want to be over here in this elementary school zone, Lake St. George, or you know, Sand Lake. So I want to search in these two areas because these are the two school zones that my buyer wants to be in. So you can search by geographies. It allows you to select multiple boundaries at a time. And then we also have our map tools over here. Our map tools, I just don't know what I could say about our map tools. I'm going to go ahead and remove our boundary. And this just allows us to go in and say, hey, I have a buyer and they want to be north of this road, south of this road, east of this road. So I just want to come in and hand draw my area because my clients want to be in East Lake or on the east side of 19. They want to be right around Lake Tarpon. So I just want to search within this little circular area right here. So I can search by drawing my area on the map. I also have just a standard radius, polygon, or box search that I can do. When you have people that are in a certain profession, right? So we can come in here and maybe they work at a local hospital like Mies Countryside, and they want to live within 5 miles of Mies Countryside. I can go to my driving, I could do distance, I can drag and drop this pin. And from here, I could say they want to live within, let's do 3 miles out from Mies Countryside, and I can search in that area as well. But if anyone is from my area and they know what McMullen Booth Road is like, and Just saying you're within 3 miles doesn't necessarily mean you're within 3 minutes. So you can come into our driving and you can do travel time as well, which just allows you to drag and drop the pin to the location or type in an address, and then you can select your travel time, your day of week, and then your length of journey. And you can go ahead and search that way as well. If they're interested in, oh, well, I want to be here, but are there nearby restaurants? Are there parks? Are there daycare centers around? You can always layer those points of interest and places of interest in the map as well. So we have points and places of interest. I've shared schools already, but you can also layer schools onto the map boundary. Public, private, or charter. It actually just puts the little scholar cap on and you can search from schools that way. And then of course, we have our map legend there as well. So all of that is available by doing a map-based search. Now, what I like about the map-based search, whether you're drawing your own boundary, or whether you're coming in and layering a particular boundary, you can always click that boundary and apply a property search. You can create a market area activity report. We have 2 ways of creating a market area activity report. You can do it right here from your map view, or you can go into research and you can go into your market area activity search that way. And a market area activity search just allows you to come into RPR and say, hey, for this particular defined area, I want to know what the market snapshot looks like and get a breakdown of home values for the area. I want to see my summary of new listings, price changes, status changes, and I want a summary of all of those. I want to see it over the last month, and I want it for properties that are for sale. I want these changes. I want it for single family homes, but I only want it for single family homes that are valued, between 500,000 and 800,000. So whether it's a inventory search for an open house, a competition search for a potential seller, you can come in and generate a market area activity report. Again, right from your map, or you can just run in and do a research and then do a market activity search that way. And then of course, right from the homepage, when you do those wonderful neighborhood searches, oh, I want to add that Allen's Ridge. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to add, I'm going to come in and say, I want Allen's Ridge in Palm Harbor, Florida. And it's going to come in and I can then add that so it appears right on my home screen when I run my property search. So you can go ahead and add your markets, you can save them, and then those markets will actually be right here on your homepage, where again, you can come in, you can search for listings in those markets, you can create market area activity reports. And
hey ladies, I know that she's a few minutes over, but I think she's going to be done in about 2 minutes.
So all of those are available for you. I have a question out there. Is this for distressed properties? Sure, you can use it for distressed properties under filters. Whether you're searching for on or public record data, you can include or exclude those distressed properties. So that's available for you as well. But with that being said, I'm looking at the clock now. We're going to go ahead and wrap things up. I want to remind you guys that RPR is available on your mobile device. You can search for properties. You can get local insight into market conditions. You can do a school search, all available at the palm of your hand, where you get that layering of information information. You guys can access RPR by visiting narrpr.com or connect through your MLS system. You can visit our blog if you need additional resources, and feel free to reach out to our support desk if you have any questions. Don't forget, right on the RPR navigation bar is our help section where you can search our online library. We have our phone number, we have a live chat, and you'll also have access to our training area where you can register for live webinars or watch any of our webinars on demand. With that being said, that's going to wrap up our presentation today. I hope you guys.
Oh my goodness. Did you find that helpful? Because I've been using RPR for a long time and did not know that I could do all those things.
Neither did I. That's awesome.
I know, I agree. I really needed this a lot. It's like, I mean, it kind of went a little too fast. I mean, I wrote a lot of stuff down.
Yeah.
So
I was having a sidebar conversation with Leslie and with Misty, and the school search functionality, I knew there was some component to that. And I have a client that's in a really small geographic area because of schools. And I'm like, oh my God, I've been making this way too hard on myself all this time. It's incredible what you can do with this. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now, is this where you just like log on to, like when we log on to search properties, is that how you start?
Yes. Okay. So to get to RPR in the MLS, do you know how to get there?
Yeah.
Or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, that's like if I'm going to search a property, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then where does it go? Is it like over on the drop downs, like where tax records are, or CMA? I think I missed the very first
Resources.
part. Oh,
It's
it's okay. So I think I missed that first part.
Yeah. Hang on
Okay.
1 second. I'll screen share and I'll show you
Okay. Okay.
if I'm still in here. Let me log back in. Can you see my screen or no?
No,
Not
I
yet.
see.
Okay, hang on. Let me go back to, okay, screen share. Let's see. Let me get in the MLS again. Okay, so when you go into the MLS, there's a resources tab at the
Right.
top. right
Okay.
here,
Yeah.
and it's at the very bottom.
Okay.
RPR,
So,
Realtor benefit, and then it'll.
okay. So
Yeah.
I missed that part. Okay.
So, if you haven't created an account or logged into it before, you'll have to do that one time.
Okay.
And
might
then
have.
beyond that, it's fine.
Okay. Yeah. I
There
think I
is-
might have.
Yeah, and then there is a I was checking out because they just have a ton of resources. So there's some much shorter webinars that are going to like dive a little bit deeper on valuation and stuff. But I
Okay.
think that specifically for the types of clients that we have that are really concerned about location and schools, and it was just amazing. And then
Yeah.
my other big takeaway is that, for instance, I have people that would consider Antioch, but they don't want to be below the freeway, right? They only
Right.
want to be on one side of the freeway. I didn't know you could do just a search parameter
Yeah.
quite like that either.
Right.
And then Leslie was saying that what she does is she does quick. Leslie, I'll let you explain really quick what you do with RPR on the fly.
Oh, okay. So when we are out looking at properties, and instead of pulling the comps in advance, because sometimes I'm not that prepared, what I'll do is I'll pull up the RPR on my phone. You just type in the NAR RPR in your Google search, and it will come up, and it will give you the homepage of the address and what the market value is. And then I will just screenshot that and send it to my clients, especially if they send me like 2 or 3 at a time. And they'll say, we want to see this, this, and this, and how much should we offer? And then I send them this, and it says, like, for this one in particular, this is the RVM is 1.8, but it's listed at 1.1.
Right.
Now, I can never remember what RVM stands for. Or how they get that, but
I think it's residential value something.
okay.
But it's like a It's like a desktop. So it's like an automated valuation.
Okay,
It's not like somebody went in and created a value for each one of those. It's they basically use the metrics and data to pull what they assess the value to be. So
Okay.
yeah.
yeah,
So, and now you just do, you said you do NARPR in Google with the address?
you can go into it like this and then it will. Stupid phone. Okay, fine. Share. You can go
Yeah, and
into
there's
the full website or there's an app.
Yeah, there's an app you can download. I'm going to download that as well.
Yeah.
Misty was telling me that she's never used the desktop version. She's only used the app.
Oh
But
yeah. So
yeah,
there's
talk about quick.
well.
Yeah, and then for you to be able to get quick on the fly, hey, what school is this? Boom, you've got it. It's crazy
Right.
cool.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. I want to play with it for sure.
And
I
it
mean,
saves all of your recent searches too.
Yes.
Oh my God, unplugged my phone already. Jesus. Anyway. I hate this cord. So yeah, and it'll just save all of the properties and you can go through, which is nice. So
oh,
That's
yeah.
awesome because then if you're, 7 properties deep and I can't remember that one on Camelback, and then you're like, boom, you've
Yeah.
got that information. Talk about providing value. That's huge.
So is that on the app itself?
that's the app. That's
Yeah.
the app. And then
you
it'll
just
have,
hit save? Is that how you do that? You just hit save and it'll save them?
when you go in and search for it, it
Yeah.
will automatically save it. You don't have to save it.
Okay.
And then it will give you all of your searches
Oh,
in shorter version. And then you can go to reports and it will ask you what you want to do for your reports. And then I don't know what this says because I'm reading
yeah.
it. There we go.
You haven't
So
got it in. Okay.
yeah, so
cool.
it's really cool.
The notes feature on that would be really good too, to be able to like jot down some notes maybe on what your client had to say about the property. Maybe they were saying, this wouldn't work because of such and such, and then you would know how to compare later
Right.
on
Yeah.
too. So great function.